What's going on, guys? This is vlog number 7, and today I just wanted to share my thoughts with you guys about two recent news articles that I came across maybe within the past like 2 or 3 weeks regarding websites using a JavaScript miner to mine Monero tokens using visitor CPU power. So I thought that these stories were really interesting, and I really hadn't heard many people talking about them. So I just wanted to share my thoughts with you guys and talk a little bit about what I think the implementations of these scripts are. So with that being said, let's get into it. First news story that I saw was regarding the Pirate Bay, and I've talked a little bit about this in another video. But so apparently the Pirate Bay was trying to run a JavaScript miner in the background of their website in order to offset the cost of advertisements. So they were going to get rid of advertisements on their website and run a miner in the background so that they could have some kind of revenue generated on their website. And after the fact, they came out and said that they were just kind of experimenting and wanted to see what was, whether or not this was an option. But of course, there was a lot of backlash from people that were very upset with the fact that the website was using their computing power without them knowing. And understandably so, I think people have the right to be upset because the Pirate Bay didn't let them know that that was going on. If the Pirate Bay had come out and said, like, hey, we're going to be doing this weekend, so if you get on our website and notice that your computer's working really hard, that's why. I think that would have been better, but instead they decided to do it without letting people know, and yeah, that's a little shady. So a lot of people were vocally upset about this, and a lot of the articles that came out regarding this were very just kind of negative. And here you can see, this is my favorite one. The Pirate Bay is hijacking your browser to mine cryptocurrency. A little bit extreme. But yeah, if you just read through some of these articles, people clearly have this bias that, this was not a positive thing, and people don't want to have websites using their computing power. So I thought that news article was really interesting. And then, maybe a week later, this article came out. Not this article in particular, but this piece of news came out. Apparently, Showtime's website got hacked, and the hacker, instead of, accessing data or anything about the company, they decided to upload this same mining script to Showtime's website so that when visitors visited Showtime's website, they would actually be mining cryptocurrency for the hacker. And this story fit people's agenda much better, I think. And so there was tons of negative press about this news story. And people just kind of brushed it under the rug. They said, like, oh, just be careful of which sites you go to. You never know what's going to happen. And so I think that this article might have been the nail in the coffin for this whole JavaScript mining thing. But I think that people are really missing the point here. And so I just wanted to kind of share my thoughts with you guys and talk a little bit about that. I want you guys to just kind of, pause the video if you have to, but take a look at your activity monitor or your task manager, whatever you guys are using, and just kind of see how much computing power your computer is actually using up. And I can tell you that right now I'm running OBS. I have a microphone set up, my webcam is set up. I have another monitor over here that I'm using, and also, I have the internet up. I have a lot of tabs up right now. So, this is a lot of things that I'm using my computer for, and I can also tell you that I don't really play graphically demanding video games, so this is probably the most computing power that my computer is ever going to use. And right now, my computer is about 90% idle. So when you think about it, like, your computer is not really using that much computing power. And I know that when most people most people go out and they spend thousands of dollars on their, their MacBook or their laptop or whatever computer they go out and purchase. First thing they do is they go home, they open up Facebook, they watch videos on YouTube, they watch Netflix, and they look up cat memes, Like, people don't really use their computer to its fullest capacity. Knowing this, that people don't really use their computers as much as they think they do. If you were to think of your computer like a house, and say you're using up one room of the house and there are 9 other rooms, so 90% of the house is not being used, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to figure out how to utilize that empty space and rent it out so that you can be making some kind of money on it. And right now, I would love to see some kind of statistic about this, but just thinking about, the fact that there's so many personal computers out there, and people are not using up as much CPU as their computers are capable of. So I just have to wonder, like, how much CPU is actually being wasted out there, like how much potential computing power is just wasted because people don't really use their laptops for anything except, word processing and browsing the internet, basically. So the point of this is that most people have no way of translating their idle computing power into something valuable. They clearly understand that their computing power is valuable, and that's why so many people got upset about these, these news articles, because the Pirate Bay was stealing people's computing power. But realistically, like, what were they using that computing power for? Like, they were literally just browsing the internet, and they were upset that it was taking 5 more seconds to load the web page or something. So I think that, people clearly understand that their computing power is valuable, but they have no way of turning it into something that has value. I think people that are actively involved in the crypto space and already kind of understand what's going on sometimes forget what it's like to be an everyday person who knows nothing about cryptocurrency. And one thing that I loved about these news stories was that it takes something that it takes this aspect of cryptocurrency mining, which is extremely complicated. I mean, to mine something, you have to literally go out and build your own computer in order to mine these currencies. But it makes it so simple that literally a 90-year-old grandmother could mine Monero. And right now it's being used to mine for websites. But imagine in the future that there's some website called minemonero.com, and they give you, 80% of the tokens that you mine, and then they take 20%. So you can literally just open up your computer, click a URL, and you're off mining. That's a huge deal. If we're gonna have cryptocurrency and blockchain be this global revolution that we all want it to be, it has to be made simpler. It has to be made in some way that the everyday person can use it. And I think that, this is it. As long as you know how to type in a URL in Google Chrome, you can start mining. So the other thing that I checked out was CoinHype's actual website, and these are the culprits, if you will, behind the JavaScript miner. And it's really interesting. They actually have more than just that one JavaScript. So what I mean by that is typically, they have the original miner where you just upload it to your website and it starts mining off of user CPU power. But they also have this thing that's a proof of work CAPTCHA. And if you don't know what a CAPTCHA is, it's basically you click a button verifying that you're not a robot on a website, and you've probably used this before. But instead of just verifying that, it also mines tokens when you click it, and it, you can see here it takes maybe like 2 or 3 more seconds. But again, if you have a lot of users, maybe that adds up, and you actually end up with a good amount of money off of that. The other thing that they have is proof of work short links, and I think this is really interesting too. So you can create a hyperlink that when someone clicks it, instead of going directly to the website on the hyperlink, it'll redirect you to a page for maybe like 5 seconds and then send you on your way. But while it's visiting that in-between site, it's generating money for the original site that you clicked from, or the original person that you got the link from. And I just wanted to show you guys kind of what this looks like really quick, because I thought it was really interesting to see what this looks like as far as computing power. And this will also give you guys kind of an idea of how far away we are from this actually being implemented. But again, remember that, parameters can change. This is going to be, upgraded and tweaked, So let's see. So you guys can see the CPU power down here. So I'll just go ahead, and what this is it's going to take me to the Monero Wikipedia page, but I'm doing it through CoinHype's website. So I'm going to click this short link, and you can see here that it says proof of work required, redirecting shortly. So it's redirecting me to the link I clicked. But if you watch my computing power, you see that spike right there. So Google Chrome is taking up 600% right now of my CPU, and the idle was at 0.74. So this huge spike right here, this huge blue spike, is actually proof of work happening in my computer mining through a website, just for that quick 5 seconds. So maybe this gets used somehow too. Again, I think it's really interesting. They can very easily shorten the amount of time that takes. And of course, as computers get faster, this is going to be even easier to implement. So just to recap, these news stories are really exciting because it allows the everyday person who doesn't know anything about cryptocurrency to get involved in the space and be mining tokens, which previously was just, again, unless you knew how to build a mining rig, you weren't mining. So it's allowing the everyday person to take part in the cryptocurrency world and also use up some of their computing power. It's taking something that they knew had value, but they weren't sure how to use it properly, and now they can rent out that computing power, if you will, to these websites that could potentially generate them some money. I am anticipating that this is not the last article that we'll see regarding this. And honestly, I think it'd be really cool if they made some currency itself that was easily mineable on CPUs, even more so than Monero, so that there could be some kind of incentive or payment system to even visit websites. I mean, for websites like Facebook, Google, or Reddit, I mean, this could be huge. Imagine like how many people, visit Facebook and leave Facebook up on their web browser. If you could implement a mining script that would mine tokens while someone's on Facebook and not even interfere with their browsing experience, I think that there's a lot of money to be made here, and I fully expect some of these bigger corporations to look into this as an alternate revenue source. So that's all I got for you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Are you opposed to websites taking your computing power? Are you for it as long as there are stipulations in place, maybe if you get paid for it? I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will see you next time. Peace.